are so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Monday. Apologize for not putting out a episode on Friday, but I was busy. I was busy having fun. And it was a hell of a nice weekend up in Idaho. Smoke was thick up there too, but it's all good. We listened to a ton of good music, met some really cool people, and didn't get much recorded. So it's been a while since I did one of my first interviews with Waddie Mitchell. So figure I'll throw it back up, touch it up a little bit, and see how y'all like it. Waddie is one of the original cowboy poets as we know it nowadays. Of course, there was many before him, many since, but he is the one that kind of helped put cowboy poetry on the map, and this was a pretty cool interview. It was all horseback, and I enjoyed it. And I'll try to get him back on again, but go in the Wayback Machine to about 2 years ago, and let's get into it with cowboy poet himself, Mr. Waddie Mitchell.
Burning daylight, burning daylight, in the saddle till the job's done right. Burning daylight, well, life is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight, burning daylight, in the saddle till the job's done right.
Go, young feller, let me take this saddle off your back. I'll get you a scoop of rolled oats, and we'll have us an evening chat. Now, let me curry some of that sweat off. I suppose that's the least I can do. Settle down now. Enjoy your grain. I'll turn you out when we're through. Well, we finish this up another day. That old sun is going down. I wonder why we say that when it's the earth that's spun around, because the sun is stationary. What is that, boredom in your eye? I guess it don't make no difference to you if I call it sundown or earthrise. But regardless, we had us a good day, and I got what I wanted to done. Neither one of us got hurt, and we managed to have us some fun. I got me high hopes for you, Brownie. I believe we'll make a good team. You just gotta slow down a little. In time, you'll know what I mean. When I was like you. When I was young, I was like you. But when working with cows, you'll find that enthusiasm's dandy, but experience is kind. Sort of lets an older fella work at a slower pace and still get as much accomplished on account of fewer mistakes. Here, let me have that foot up. I'll check on that old hoof crack. Hold yourself up, darn it. No need to be hard on my back. Yep, them clips I drew have done it. Looks like it's going out fine. Won't hardly know you had one when I shoe you up next time. Say, but you caught that yearling slit. Do you like roping as much as you claim to? Maybe we should enter us a jackpot. Now, there'd be something to aim to. Yeah, but I don't see the boss allowing me to take you past them hills. Sides. You know nothing of trailering. I don't reckon you ever will. See, you and I, we're dying breed. Ain't many left like us these days. Well, I see you add up the last year's grain. Come on, pard. You go out and graze. Thanks for the chat. I've enjoyed it. Suppose I best head on inside and get me some supper started. I'll catch you later, pard. Thanks for the ride.
Well, folks, I am here with Waddie Mitchell, kind of a legend in the cowboy poetry world, and a Nevada native, I believe. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you're from Elko?
Elko County. Never quite lived in Elko, but just on ranches around it.
Well, Elko County, for those of you who are not aware, is a pretty big area. It's one of the biggest counties in the country, I believe, as far as landmass goes. But like most of the western U.S., landmass and population are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
And you're right about that. When I was a kid, I used to drive 60 miles to go to school because they just didn't run a bus that far for so few kids. So at 14, they let me have a driver's license and we could drive on into school.
Well, that's kind of how it was with my dad growing up, too. I believe he got his driver's license at 14. And Southeast Colorado is pretty remote, or so I thought, until I got out here in Nevada, and it brings a whole new meaning to the word remote. I mean, it's a long ways to anywhere if you're not in town.
That's exactly right. But that's the way we like it.
That's right. That's right. The less people, the better. I don't mind hanging around people for a short amount of time, but eventually I have to go back to where it's quiet and there's nobody around.
Well, we're blessed that way, and I guess what we want to do is keep it a little quieter so we can keep it that way. That folks think that they never want to live out there.
I think that's right. So we've got I always tell people, it's some of the worst country around, it's just awful. The people are terrible. The animals outside want to eat you. Well, they want to kill you just for fun and then maybe eat you if they have the time. But mostly just make it as miserable as possible and maybe they'll stay away.
That's a good idea.
I wish somebody like myself would have thought about that in regards to Colorado about 20 years ago and got a little better start to keep people from moving in, but I think it's a lost cause at this point.
I'll tell you, I was out in that country and I gotta tell you that I was pretty jealous about that good grammar grass and all that, those good grasses that come back with the rain. In Elko County, we've got it's good, healthy grass, but you get one chance at it. And if it doesn't make in the spring, you're not going to get it later on. And if it does make it in the spring and good storms come, you're not really helping it.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of the way it is out on the eastern plains. We're primarily buffalo grass out there, and it's a good hardy grass. But if it doesn't get some good moisture in throughout the winter and in the spring, it's you're not going to get much out of it the rest of the year.
Well, that's a beautiful part of the country. That big prairie country, cedar breaks. I'll tell you, I'm just really impressed with it.
Well, of course, I'm kind of partial to it. Being, I was born in Denver, but I was raised out on the plains, and I'm a flatlander in every sense of the word. But it's hard to beat those Ruby Mountains from where you're from. I've spent a little bit of time there, and that's some of the prettiest country you will see.
Yeah, I've got a view of about 25 miles of those rubies right out my front porch. Beautiful sight.
Oh, I bet. Well, I kind of want to just have a conversation about how you started and kind of how you came up and how you got to where you are now. You seem to have just a fascinating story from being raised on a ranch to eventually becoming cow boss and then making a career as a cowboy poet before that was even a thing. So I guess I'll kind of turn it over to you.
Well, let's see then. I can't take credit for being in this lifestyle. I was born into it. We were on a pretty remote ranch. We were 14 miles from the nearest neighbor and 30 miles of dirt road to the nearest pavement. We didn't have electricity. We did have an old Waddie two-banger light lamp that we could start up every once in a while in the summertime and keep the freezer froze for Mama. But most of the time, we went without power, which when you're all set up for it, you do not even miss it, We had plenty of coal lamps and we had plenty of propane lamps, and of course there was always the coal oil lamps that we washed mantles and trimmed wicks, and they were chore, but that's just the way it was. We heated the big house all with wood. I think I was about 14 years old before I realized my name wasn't Get More Wood. I decided at 16 that I was just way too smart to go to school anymore, and I had a chance to go out on the 7S, which was at the time still the only chuck wagon in Elko County that was pulled by horses and mules. We had a four-up team of horses to pull the chuck wagon, and then mules to pull the hoodlum. And so it was just big country, and it was my first experience of going out on the wagon and actually getting to be a full-time buckaroo. I didn't give it up. I did get drafted, and I went off for a couple of years, but then when I come back, I went right back to it. Eventually, still in those days, a lot of times, instead of getting somebody out of college, they'd find a cowboy on the ranch that they thought was doing a good job and promote him. So when a cow boss left, I got to go from jigger boss into cow boss. I think I'd have rather done the other, but the family started and I kind of had to make a little more money. So that was a good deal for me. But after a lot of years of that, they decided, as they often do, that the cowboy was dying off, and they come to make a film of the last of the real cowboys. I was one of 3 guys they picked. They come out to the ranch thinking they'd go get a motel somewhere. At the time, that camp we were in was 44 miles of dirt road and then another 100 miles of highway to town. So they figured out quick when they got there we had planned on having them over. It was summertime. We cooked with wood, so you never wanted to cook at evening. So we always sat outside, built a fire, and we'd cook our meat and stuff over that. They were fascinated with that, and then a bunch of the guys that cowboys said, well, tell them some of your poetry. And I did, and I think they all went back and told other folks about it. And next thing I knew, I was getting asked on the Johnny Carson show. I didn't know who the heck Johnny Carson was. I if I did, I probably would never have stayed up that late to watch it anyway. So I told him no thanks. I appreciate it, but I got some cattle I'm getting ready to ship, and pretty quick and you got to realize our closest phone was at 44 miles of dirt road away, and they were just really good neighbors, and they'd have to drive out to get us those kind of messages. Well, I asked him who the heck Johnny Carson was, and he didn't know either. So I guess he made some phone calls, and they called him back, and he come back out and said, "It's a pretty big deal, Waddie. You ought to go try to do it." I went out there to Los Angeles and did that Johnny Carson show, which was kind of no big deal to me because they had all the cameras and lights in your eyes, so you couldn't see the audience. So it was like I was sitting there just talking with him. And Johnny really liked the idea of cowboys doing it. He said he never really pictured John Wayne sitting around a campfire spewing poetic. So that seemed like an oxymoron to him when they said they found this cowboy poet. But he asked us back, and he was real good about it right up until he was at the end of the show. He had me back 3 times, and he had Baxter Black, who he just thrilled America, and they had a lot of cowboys on it. So that actually, I come back to the ranch, and all of a sudden started getting calls, things like the Rotary Club and this and that, and I could go in and make $150 in one night, which was damn good wages, I thought. So we started doing it that way, and in no time at all, we get a call from Warner Brothers saying they want us to come back and be on their label, which meant going to Nashville and hanging around there for a while. We did. It wasn't long, though, before I decided that isn't really the kind of folks that I want to do business with. And we found a great guy out in Colorado Springs, in part of your country, named Scott O'Malley.
Yes, sir.
And Scott has, he took on the Sons of San Joaquin, Don Edwards, myself, Rich O'Brien, Red Spiegel, and of course Michael Martin Murphy. And it was just a fun time as that label was going. But it wasn't long, like I said, before I got kind of thinking that this ain't really how I want to spend my life. So when I kind of left the label, so did most everybody else, and we all found this Scott O'Malley, who we all became family with, still with him after close to 25 years, I guess. And so we're just had I went from being a cowboy and making no money to talking about a cowboy and making some money. Very fair, but that's the way the world goes.
Well, yeah, it sure seems like it. I've told people for the amount of money your working cowboy makes, there is not a more expensive profession to be in, because everything you need and you want as a cowboy costs a lot more money than what you make, it seems like.
So you're sure right on that. But just, I remember having to, braid riatas and shoe horses and start colts all on the side just to be able to buy my kids something. But one of the things buckaroos at least did, and I'm sure most cowboys do, is barter or trade with each other.
Oh, yeah.
And
there is nothing better than a good trade.
That's right. That gives you that satisfaction of having something new to hang on the wall for a while, without going out and spending all that money.
Yes, sir. That is 100% correct. And I was gonna say earlier, I didn't want to interrupt you when you were talking about Johnny Carson and how he didn't view John Wayne as spewing poetics. I can imagine that Johnny Carson hadn't visited with very many working cowboys before he had you on his show, because if he had, he would know that there is a lot of poetic language in just an average cowpuncher or buckaroo story, and it's kind of a hidden gem within the cowboy world, is just the way of conversating. You typically, you're trying to one up somebody usually with your story, so you gotta make it sound better, and that usually, I guess that's kind of where the poetics come into, is usually you're just trying to show your buddy up.
Oh man, this is an excellent episode, isn't it? I know you're loving it, but there's some people that helped me put this whole thing together for your ears, and I got to tell you about them, because guess what? They pay me to do so, and because they pay me to do so, I'm happy to tell you about them. Stetson Ranches, you heard them at the top of the show. They're a multi-generational ranch family, and they focus on the things that matter most in any good cattle operation, any ranch. That's horses and cattle. And those cattle, they're going to be turned into delicious USDA prime beef. Going to be delivered to your doorstep on dry ice. These are registered Black Angus cows being bred to registered Hereford bulls. And these calves are going to be fed out the highest quality feed ingredients, and it's going to be some of the best beef you've ever had in your life. Like I said, delivered right to your doorstep. You can buy a quarter or an eighth, $6.95 a pound. But the really cool deal they got going on is a monthly subscription box. It's $125 a month. You get 8 to 11 pounds of beef. That's hamburger, that's stew meat, that's a roast, and selected cuts of steak as well. And if you use the promo code Move Your Ass, MOVEYERASS, you'll get 20% off your first month. It's a really good deal, really good people, and the beef is just phenomenal. They've also got some of the best quarter horses out there. Tina's done a really good job of finding and maintaining the some of the best foundation quarter horse bloodlines out there. We're talking these mares go back to Zanpar Bar, Two-Eyed Jack, Peppy Sand Badger, Doc Bar. And speaking of Doc Bar, they just picked up a new stud who's own grandson of Peppy Sand Badger, as well as Doc Alina, grandson of Doc Alina on the bottom side. Their mares are bred to a stud out of the King Ranch. They got a full crop dropping this spring. And these colts are going to be big, shapy, athletic, heavy boned, great disposition, level head, and ready to go any which way you want to take them. Excellent horses, excellent beef, and even better people. StetsonRanches.com for the horse information. Stetson Beef if you'd like to order some meat. And remember that promo code, Move Your Ass, and just let them know you heard about them on Burnin Daylight. Next up, we got Thunderbird Equine, Miss Jessica Pancos. She's down in Sandia Park, New Mexico. She's a third-generation rancher, second-generation horse trainer, focusing on vaquero-style horsemanship for your colt, your horse, or your mule. She is now a mule skinner. They're going to get practical ranch-type experience. They're also going to get roping experience, either heading, heeling, breakaway, ranch roping. They're all options. They'll probably get all of it. She accepts colts to start, and as well as tune-ups, and just working with your horses. Either way, 60-day minimum. If your colts, you can expect a quiet, confident, respectful colt with all the right tools to move on to any discipline of your choice. Horses and mules in for finishing. They can be expected to develop a harder stop, more collected frame, and precise movement through leg cues. They will develop the confidence to do anything you'd like under saddle, whether that be mounted shooting, roping, trail riding, or cattle work. And they're probably going to perform a little bit better than that German lady's horse in the Olympics. I'm not going to blame that on the horse. kind of a weird deal there. Anyhow, you don't have to worry about that when you're sending your horses to Thunderbird Equine. At the end of the program, you'll get 5 free lessons to reacquaint yourself with your new equine partner. Give her a holler, 720-205-2996, or you can find her on Facebook and Instagram, Thunderbird Equine. Shoot her a message there. Next up, we got Tracy Morrison, Custom Silverwork. He is out of Chelsea, New Mexico. Great guy, making some really cool, just cowboy shit. Looks good. Bits, spurs, buckles, money clips. We just gave one of those away. By the way, I'll mention those later, but Tracy's a great guy. He's building really cool stuff, prized for the working cowboy. And he's a friend of the show, big time supporter, and I appreciate the hell out of him. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram. Just check him out, Tracy Morrison Silver. That's Tracie. His Instagram handle is T Morrison _custom silver on Instagram, and you can find him there on Facebook. Same deal. Tracy Morrison, go check him out. Great guy. Next up, we got 4T Ag Insurance, Mr. Colt Tritt, and they're based out of Texas, but they're licensed in most states. They provide coverage for pasture, rangeland, and forage, which is a drought insurance, annual forage insurance, equine insurance, animal mortality, livestock risk protection, daily revenue protection for milk, pasture, fire, and that's just to name a few. They're in the ag industry that he can most likely provide coverage. They're licensed in most states, and just a really good deal. He was telling me about some folks down in Arizona that really do well on this insurance program that he's got. So you can find him on Facebook, 4T Ag Insurance, or you can give him a holler, 817-559-5770. That's 4T Ag Insurance. And then also along those lines, we got Cultivated Ag, Miss Krista Gilbert. She's a friend of mine from college, and she is now selling crop insurance there in Burlington, Colorado. She's licensed in Colorado, Kansas, and New Mexico, but there's also she's also reciprocal in Texas and California. I know we got a lot of listeners in both of those states, and she's same thing. She can do just about all ag insurance. She focuses more on the crop side of things. So if you're looking to renew yours or find some new insurance, you can give her a holler, 719-342-2112. That's Cultivated Ag Management. They're in Burlington, Colorado. Thanks again to all the sponsors. I sure appreciate the hell out of you guys. They really help me keep the lights on, keep me updated on the technical stuff that I got to do here. Also, if you don't like hearing ads, you can head over to patreon.com/BurninDaylight, where we just give away a bag of coffee from Black Rifle Coffee. Mr. Joe Rolak was the lucky winner there. Tracy Morrison donated a really nice silver money clip as well as a horn cap. Excellent engraving, beautiful stuff. Stephen Chapman was the winner of the money clip. Jake Smith wins the horn cap. So this month we got Matt Wilson making us something cool, and we'll see what else we can throw in there to give away. Try to give a couple different things away for the different levels there. So anyhow, patreon.com/BurninDaylight. You can sign up there anywhere from $1 a month to $100 a month. Depends on what you want to do, how much you want to support me, and you get some cool little kickbacks for it. So anyhow, I appreciate all you guys that subscribe there, and I appreciate everybody that sponsors the show. It's really cool, really humbling, and appreciate you. So now, that being said, let's get back into this excellent episode that you were listening to.
Well, let me tell you how that all started, just about every specialized, when you think about it, occupation gets to having their own language, whether you be a sailor or a 21 dealer at a casino, a fisherman, a logger. All these people had start getting their own phrases that are pretty unique to that occupation. Well, think about when the real cowboy occupation come up. It was pretty much in the Victorian time, and English and language itself was very proper and very descriptive. And I think that's where all that started, because that's really where the cowboys come from. And with all these different ways of expressing themselves in a Victorian way, kind of started kind of an interesting language. I'm not talking about just the words we use to do our job, but oftentimes, you know, there's for instance, a guy says, "I've got 5 kids. They're all girls, except 4 of them." They found a very, very dry use of language, and they figured out they could manipulate language, get the point across, but also make it a lot more interesting or funny, or you could really cuss a guy out without ever saying a cuss word. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I've been on the receiving end of countless numbers of those with my dad, who is kind of a cowboy poet in his own right. And there's times where you think he's giving you a compliment until you get about you're out the door and on your way, and then you think, well, that sorry old sucker. I'm kind of offended now.
Well, I'll bet you picked up that too, and just couldn't wait until you got to do the same thing to some kid.
Oh, I use it on my kids and my nieces and nephews on every chance I get now. It is a lot of fun, especially when they come back a couple of days later and they said, you were just kidding me. and it takes them that long to figure out sometimes, and it's almost a game anymore.
There you go. I played around with one writing it the other day. You want to hear that?
Well, yeah, I would love to.
Did you ever get caught in a hailstorm of a sudden appears in the sky and get pelted unmercifully brutal on a bronc you could barely get by? On a big flat with no trees or cover, wind shifts into take your hat mode, and you had no time to reset or slicker because your horse claims that you don't want road. It's prairie dog and badger infested, and there's washes and rocks easy found, and your pony's convinced it's all your fault, wants nothing but you on the ground. You're getting beat from above and below, between rock, hail, and a brute, getting welted and rattled and jarred to the bone quicker than thoughts can compute. Your clothes and your boots and your chaps are soaked through when bronc and hail quit with the rain. Now there's other things that want your attention, like deciding what's in the most pain. All just in time for a cold wind to blow ice layer on wet clothes and eye. Did you ever get caught in a spring storm like that? Well, have you? Neither have I.
Waddie, that was great. I sure appreciate your time. I'm sure you've got things to do. If you don't mind, I'd like you to join me in my sign off. I always kind of, it's mostly for show. I don't want people to think too much of me, but I always say I've got stuff to do later on today, so I always end it by saying, move your ass, we're burning daylight. So, from Elko County, Mr. Waddie Mitchell. I've got some stuff to do today, so move your ass and I'll have you end it.
Move your ass. There's daylight a burning.
Well, thank you, sir. I do appreciate your time, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Waddie Mitchell.
Thank you kindly. Enjoyed it, Bart.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your time, and I'll edit out just a little bit of dead air, and other than that, I'm going to record a little introduction, and before we go on,
let me give you another one.
Oh, okay.
Take up some more. You want to?
Sure. That'll be fine by me.
Here you go, young feller. Let me take this saddle off your back. I'll get you a scoop of rolled oats, and we'll have us an evening chat. Now, let me curry some of that sweat off. I suppose that's the least I can do. Settle down now. Enjoy your grain. I'll turn you out when we're through. Well, we finish this up another day. That old sun is going down. I wonder why we say that when it's the earth that's spun around, 'cause the sun is stationary. What is that, boredom in your eye? I guess it don't make no difference to you if I call it sundown or earthrise. But regardless, we had us a good day, and I got what I wanted to done. Neither one of us got hurt, and we managed to have us some fun. I've got me high hopes for you, Brownie. I believe we'll make a good team. You just gotta slow down a little. In time, you'll know what I mean. When I was young, I was like you, but when working with cows, you'll find that enthusiasm's dandy, but experience is kind. Sort of lets an older fella work at a slower pace and still get as much accomplished on account of fewer mistakes. Here, let me have that foot up. I'll check on that old hoof crack. Hold yourself up, darn it. No need to be hard on my back. Yep, them clips I drew have done it. Looks like it's going out fine. Won't hardly know you had one when I shoe you up next time. Say, but you caught that yearling slip. Do you like roping as much as you claim to? Maybe we should enter us a jackpot. Now, there'd be something to aim to. Yeah, but I don't see the boss allowing me to take you past them hills. Besides, you know nothing of trailering. I don't reckon you ever will. See, you and I, we're dying breed. Ain't many left like us these days. Well, I see you add up the last year's grain. Come on, Pard. You go out and graze. Thanks for the chat. I've enjoyed it. Suppose I'd best head on inside and get me some supper started. I'll catch you later, Pard. Thanks for the ride.
Well, Waddie, that was just great. I do appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll get you back on one of these days, and we'll talk about some more of the intricacies of cowboy life.
Well, I hope that this thing works good for you, and that you can kind of spread the word and the life of cowpunchers and buckaroos. Thank you kindly.
Well, thank you, sir. Until next time, you stay safe out there and keep doing what you do.
Thank you kindly. I'll do it if you will.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye. Here you go, young feller. Let me take this saddle off your back. I'll get you a scoop of rolled oats, and we'll have us an evening chat. Now, let me curry some of that sweat off. I suppose that's the least I can do. Settle down now. Enjoy your grain. I'll turn you out when we're through. Well, we finish this up another day. That old sun is going down. I wonder why we say that when it's the earth that's spun around, 'cause the sun is stationary. What is that, boredom in your eye? I guess it don't make no difference to you if I call it sundown or earthrise. But regardless, we had us a good day, and I got what I wanted to done. Neither one of us got hurt, and we managed to have us some fun. I got me high hopes for you, Brownie. I believe we'll make a good team. You just gotta slow down a little. In time, you'll know what I mean. When I was young, I was like you, but when working with cows, you'll find that enthusiasm's dandy, but experience is kind. Sort of lets an older fella work at a slower pace and still get as much accomplished on account of fewer mistakes. Here, let me have that foot up. I'll check on that old hoof crack. Hold yourself up, Burnin. No need to be hard on my back. Yep, them clips I drew have done it. Looks like it's going out fine. Won't hardly know you had one when I shoe you up next time. Say, but you caught that yearling slip. Do you like roping as much as you claim to? Maybe we should enter us a jackpot. Now, there'd be something to aim to. Yeah, but I don't see the boss allowing me to take you past them hills. Sides. You know nothing of trailering. I don't reckon you ever will. See, you and I, we're a dying breed. Ain't many left like us these days. Well, I see you add up the last year grain. Come on, pard. You go out and graze. Thanks for the chat. I've enjoyed it. Suppose I best head on inside and get me some supper started. I'll catch you later, pard. Thanks for the ride.
Catches his horse in the dark. Another day's about to start. Slick fork saddle and his long rope. Tapadero's hanging low. Sun comes up 90 degrees. Battle Mountain set him free. Days all start just the same. He rides the valleys and he rides the plains. The red-hot sun is moving slow, so he rides the brush below, chasing cats